Bonis, and of course a very sad day today too, because a young man that I had the chance to know very well and just really pleasurable guy, DJ Dalton Hilliard Jr., passed away, 29 years of age. And I'd spoken with his father very recently, 2 weeks ago. He told me there was an issue in the family, but that was it. And of course his dad has been a good friend of mine for many years, Dalton Hilliard, Saints Hall of Famer, Great New Orleans Sports Hall of Famer, Louisiana Sports Hall of Famer. Andrew, a wonderful person. But Dalton Jr. is just a delightful, easygoing, nice young man, a gentleman that spent a lot of time around him as a player and a coach, joining us now, the head football coach of Brother Martin, Mark Bonis. And Mark, I know this had to be a blow and tough news for you and for the whole Brother Martin community, correct?
Yes, sir. Got the news late yesterday afternoon. Was very shocked and saddened to hear. I had known, that Dalton, that DH, has been going through some health problems, but it seemed as if the last I had heard that things were going well. And then to get the news that I got yesterday was very, very upsetting. And then today, obviously, today's our first day back with teachers meetings, and there's a lot of people that were very upset, to hear the news.
Tell us about Dalton. Look, I know him very well, and not only knew him as a player at Brother Martin and Nichols, but also working for Premier Automotive and at Premier Nissan. We talk all the time, and just a really good young man. But tell the people about your knowledge of and your encounters with Dalton.
Yeah, when I first got to Brother Martin, Dalton was a sophomore, so I got to see him as a youngin' and then grow. From his sophomore year to junior year, he emerged as a great football player, and then junior senior year really had was a great football player for us. But that's only a part of the story. For him as a player, he worked very, very hard to be the very best at what he did. But then, knowing him as a student, he did the same thing in the classroom. He worked very hard to achieve the things that he did. He was always, not just in football, but in school, always looking to get help, always looking to be the very best at those things. And that really made a mark on me. It really impressed me for him being such a young man. Besides a football player and a great athlete that he was, it's simple as this: is that yesterday I found out the news, and I have teammates from classes 2 and 3 years prior to, or even 4 years after him, calling, wanting to know what happened and what they can do, which just goes to show the mark that he made on people, how he affected people, how he touched people. I also once Dalton finished Brother Martin, he went on to Nichols, and after he finished playing football at Nichols, he came back and wanted to give back to our players, to our younger guys, and he always was looking to do that. He was always looking to give back to our football program. And then later on, I was blessed enough for him to start working with my wife at Enterprise Rental Car, where I really got to know him even more. And there's nothing much more I can say of how. He's just a great young man. Was a great young man. He people, like I said, before him and people after him loved him. And just knowing how people are hurting today after hearing the news, it's just such a great person gone, way, way, way too soon.
Yeah, it's shocking. It's numbing, and to see everything that's happened this year has been hard to fathom and watch, and yet this one hits really hard. Anybody that knows the family at all, Dad's a very unassuming, easygoing gentleman, it's the right word, and the leaf didn't fall far from the tree. Dalton Jr. is just a really nice guy. A guy that had a great personality, was infectious, and was never going to be the accomplished player his dad was, but he, as you mentioned, he was a good player who got the most out of his ability. That's the best thing you can say about anybody.
No, he did, and this is this says a lot about him as well. His senior year, I think for us, he was an outstanding player because of his versatility. He played running back for us and was a return specialist for us his sophomore year. Then junior year was predominantly a running back, and then senior year was a running back. But then he really surprised a lot of people when at times we moved him to a slot receiver in 4 receiver sets. And we did that because we had a really good young freshman that we wanted to get on the field, and Dante Butler. And I remember, this says a lot about him as a teammate and as a team player. I remember bringing Dalton into the office and telling him, and I was offense coordinator at the time, and I told him, I said, listen, this is what we want to do because, in our 4 receiver sets, we want to have you on the field. We also want to get this young running back an opportunity to touch the ball because we think he's really special as well. We want to put our best athletes on the field. And, a person who has put his time in and worked like he did, you just don't know how people are going to respond. And he responded in such a great way and such a great teammate, saying and knowing, Coach, if that's what y'all think is the best for the team, then we're let's do that, And it says a lot about him. It says a lot about how he's been raised. I can't say enough about Dalton, and it's truly saddening and disheartening for, like I said, for this to happen. Like I said earlier, it's just way too soon. Just for me, I had, known some things were going on, but I really thought things were looking up. I thought things were going well for him, going better, and to get the news yesterday was, it's been tough. It's been a tough day.
Well, Mark, I know you've been through your own challenges over the last year or so, and your family has been for the last couple of years, and so you know what it's like. But I know you know how much we care about your family and how much we care about the Hilliard family, who are great friends of mine and wonderful people. Just want everyone, regardless of your persuasion, you could be a Tulane fan, a Nichols fan, an LSU fan. By all means, please keep the Hilliard family in your prayers. And Mark, listen, I know cut out for a minute there, but want to thank you for joining us tonight and for the entire Brother Martin community, the entire Nichols community. Again, not only our condolences, but our prayers for wonderful people. And 29 years, too soon, but a life well lived.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And, like you said, let's please keep the whole family in our prayers.
You got it, buddy. Thank you. Appreciate it, Mark.
Thank you so much.